So today I'm going to be unboxing the December 2018 Scrawlrbox. It's the second box that I've gotten so far. So let's see what's inside. So let's start with the usual little card they give you with all the information about what's inside. It also has the Scrawler challenge on the back, which this month would be pastel petals. And then we have this month's featured artist artwork. It is Anne Pellegrino. And if you would like to check her out, here's her information for her Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, and whatnot. So it looks like this month they have an extra one in here for her artwork. And it says, as we are coming to the end of the year, we wanted to include another little extra from our featured artist to help inspire your next year of creativity. Maybe you could make this your resolution for 2019. And as we see, it says, draw every day. And then we have the classic Scrawlrbox sticker. I actually liked it. Last month they had a different texture for it, kind of looking like what was in the box was used to make it, and I thought that was a little bit more creative than just always putting this simple one in. Then we have the papers that they've included for us to practice with. It feels kind of like Bristol board. It has a sort of rough but smooth look to it, and it's got some whiz. So for the drawing utensils, we have Friction Light Soft Pilot highlighters. Yep. Highlight, delete, and repeat. I've actually heard of the Friction brand before, and I looked into it, but never got one, so it's kind of nice to now have some. And we also have a Friction Ball Pilot pen. It has the little eraser end. It has just a regular ballpoint nib and a little grip, which is kind of nice. Next item. So this is a paint marker super silver extra fine point pentel, and it's got that kind of thick but still small nib, so it'd be nice to try using for some line art. And then we have two just classic Sharpie markers, and it has a ultra fine point and a fine point. So the ultra fine point and the fine point is the chisel nib that we are also very used to from Sharpie. And then we also have little candy they include always. It's Fruits Glacier. I've never had one of these before, so I'm interested to try it out. Let's take one of these out and get a closer look. Alright, so it's got this little interesting design on it, much like the pen and little regular highlighter chisel. Alright, so I've gone ahead and tried these already. So I started off with the Friction ballpoint pen just to check how well it wrote and erased. As you can kind of see with this one, whenever I tried putting a lot on, it didn't quite go back to white, so you can kind of tell. And it works as good as you expect an erasable pen to work. And then we have over here, I tried using this and then going over it with the Sharpie Ultra Fine Point and then using this to erase it as if I was erasing a sketch, and it didn't really work that well. As you can see, there's some smudging that went on. That's what, from this little informational guide, they were intending for you to use the Friction Ball Medium as a sketch. So it says here on the highlighter section that use the Friction ball for your sketches because the highlighters do not play well with pencil, and that's not really good because the Friction doesn't play very well with the Sharpie, so I have to figure my way around that. Next, I tried out the highlighters, and those really do actually erase quite well. And then I tried drawing with this over top of them and trying to erase it, and there's clearly still a line there. So not that great. I'd also put underneath a line from the Sharpie and colored over top of that to see how well that worked. And I don't like it too much because if you look closely, you can kind of see the color goes over top of the line. And I don't like that because I like my line art to be very clean. So I don't want colors going over top of my black lines, which means it'd be best to put down the color first and then go over it with Sharpie, which I kind of did with this one. And I also played with that paint marker, which is very shiny and I love it. So sparkly. You can kind of see here, going over top of the Sharpie did not work very well, but going over top of the highlighter with a Sharpie was good. So after I did all those, I went on to trying out some character designs with the challenge pastel petals, and I sort of went down a Thumbelina route and had her just, coming out of a flower. I don't know flowers very well, so I was just like, sort of 2 petals. I don't know what I'm doing. 2 petals. And that's because of these colors that I was given. There's not a skin tone color, so I just like, let's just go completely weird alien route. And then I used the paint pen for just some little details on the dress, and her eyes are that way. Yep, that's what I did for my first sketch. So this was my second sketch that I tried. Once again, she has pigtails. This time I kind of went with a longer route, but the same clothes I used with that sort of frilly crop top, and I have her kind of being bashful, but she kind of looks alluring as well in this one. And once again, I don't know how to draw flowers and was not looking at any references, so I just went squiggly petals this time, sort of following how her hair was going. And I thought that this was going to be my final one, but decided to try again after this. And this next one I really liked. Ta-da! I think she's super adorable. I actually looked up some references and decided I wanted to kind of go with a daisy type of vibe for the petals, and then I gave her this kind of furry looking top that kind of looked like the inside of a daisy, that little bumpy texture. And once again, I went with that sort of bashful route. But she looks like she's actually bashful. She's not trying to seduce you as well as the other one sort of seemed like she was trying to do. And then I went the route of the ball-like pigtails that were kind of looking Sailor Moonish, and for some reason I was like, I'm gonna make them into petals, and it just ends up kind of looking like an avocado, an artichoke. It looks like an artichoke. And I was like, you know what, I'm just gonna run with that. And I looked up artichokes, and she has artichoke pigtails now. I don't care. I love them. So this is the one that I have decided on. So let's color it. I am quite lazy, so once I've drawn something, I don't really like drawing it a second time after I've perfected it. So here we go. I just use a light box. I know there are a lot of people that don't like using light boxes, probably, and I'm not one of them, so yep, I used a light box. This was my original sketch, whatever. I think what I'm going to do is just put down the color first, and then go over it with the liner, and I am not going to use this one, because it's frustrated me, and I won't be using it. Maybe for some other thing I will use it, maybe just for writing down notes, but not in an artist kind of way. Let us start with the shirt. So these said that they weren't going to play very well with my pencil, which is probably true, but because I'm not doing this over top of the sketch, I'm doing it on just very simple lines, I think that I'll be fine. Because I'm kind of making it that sort of daisy middle look, I'm gonna end up sort of stippling it to do the shadows, just so it kind of has that texture that I'm looking for. So these highlighters, you can go over them multiple times to get darker variations for shading, which is nice. I've never used a highlighter as a art medium, which is kind of the reason why we get these boxes, to try using things that you wouldn't normally use. That's good enough for now. Let you guys have a closer look at it. So, I like it. It's nice and textured. I think I'm going to do the green part first. So this one's not really looking too different. Whenever I go over it a second time, maybe if I wait for it to dry a bit, it will show up a little better, I will start on the petals. The petals, I guess. So for the petals, I'm kind of wanting it to have a highlight, so I'm just starting at the top and lifting up towards the middle where I want the highlight to be, and then I'll come from the bottom and do the same thing. Kind of gives that nice rough look. So I really like how the chisel on this one's kind of giving it that super brushy texture. Whenever I lift up, it makes me not have to do so much work. Alright, now that I got that base color down for the flower, I'm gonna go back over it to try to give it sort of a deeper texture to it and, you know, add some shadows and whatnot. So as you can see now, it's kind of with just that little line on that side, opposite of what my light source is supposed to be. It really makes the petals pop out more and seem more three-dimensional, and like this part of it is on top of the other part. It's a very simple thing that can just change the artwork so much. It's really hard to build up this color. It's more the base color you do, and then the next color, the second layer, and that's all you got. It's just two variations. Just pulling off the paper if I put too much down, so it's kind of on my nib, a little bit of the paper, but I will bear through it. Yep, it seems like this guy might be drying out on me. I might have tested it a bit too much on my practice stuff. Move on to the next color now. I'm gonna try using the blue for her skin. I'm going to try it. It's not my initial choice, but what the heck. So I'm trying to shade the face now and hopefully not completely ruin everything. Once again, whenever I'm putting that second layer on, it's kind of giving a grainy texture because it's pulling up the paper. I don't know if they test on these papers beforehand, but it's not really working too well with this medium, in my opinion. Also, just a note on this particular type of pen, it seems like it's not going into the paper, it's just sitting on top of the paper. You can almost feel it over top, and I think that's because of its erasable quality. But I don't know, I'm not an expert or anything, that's how I feel. So this blue seems to be less forgiving. It's hard to blend, so I'm gonna try using the erasable quality of it and see if I can make some highlights. This is actually working pretty well. It's not very exact though. It seems to be harder to erase these sections where you've gone over twice. It's funny, I'll see it go lighter whenever I'm putting friction to it, and then when I pick up the pen, it's back to the color it was before. It's not white anymore. You really have to put some force to make it come off. but if it's on this single layer, it comes off quite easily. On to the hair. So I'm going to try and do the same highlight texture on these little tiny petals, but I will start with the middle parts. I think I'll start at the tips of the artichoke buns. Because the tips are more clustered together towards the top, there's going to be less highlights on them. So I'm also adding some shadows to where they are going inwards to once again just have it pop out more and have some volume. Right, one down. Let's take a closer look at this and see what the heck it looks like. It kind of now, because of the pink color, reminds me like a lotus blossom, maybe? Alright, so let's move on to the next pigtail. So I'm finding that using this tip going to the side instead of the wide chisel part is making it a bit easier to do the highlight effect on these little petals. So that just goes to show you that if you don't like how something's turning out, just try moving about your drawing utensil. Try doing different ways. See if a different result happens. Alright, I think I'm done with the hair. To kind of go with the alien theme, I'm going to be making the whites of the eye not white, but pink, matching her hair. Now we're going to move on to the accessories, which I'm going to use the paint marker to do. Does that stick? That's annoying. I love just how shiny this pen is. It's so shiny. It's like duct tape. Then I'm gonna give her some silver irises. Alright, so now we just got the line art to do. And let's start with the face. So I'm noticing that it's hard to go over this paint. So like if I wanted to make that iris here a little bigger, it doesn't want to go past the silver spot. It's just, I don't know. As I say that, I put a dot on it until it stays. Let's fix that. There we go. Alright, so now I'm trying the Stabilo in black and gonna see if this one works for me until the end, because I would like to at least finish the drawing. One good thing about being an artist is I have a bunch of black pens to choose from. Alright, so I'm done with the fine lines, and I'm just gonna go over the outside with a thicker border because that's just what I like to do. Now that I'm done with the border, I'm gonna go back with the finer liner and just sort of ease it in some places so it doesn't look so abrupt, the line variation. Alright, I think I'm done. I just need to sign it. That is my first ever Scrawlrbox unboxing. I also have this practice one that I did, which might be why some of my stuff was drying out. But I'd like to know whether you thought this one or this one was better with the color choices. So let me know your thoughts in the comments, and maybe I'll see you next time.